what to do. There's caffeine on the house, it's active, radioactive. Loving you felt like dying on the operating table, like climbing a ladder till I give up and fall. Like the anesthesia didn't work, and I feel the creation of every scar. Like a movie I'm chained to.
Wait, really quick, guys, I have to tell you about my GoFundMe for my music career. I have a GoFundMe for my music career starting from $0, raising money for ads to grow my audience and to reach record labels. If things grow, then I will eventually be using that money to turn my YouTube demos into full professional real recordings. And help me to go as far as possible. I bet if you guys will do your best to help me and to invest, you guys could probably turn me into the biggest pop star in the world. It's just going to really depend on how much you guys are willing and able to help me. So please do what you can to help, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.
I have 1 penny to buy this iced coffee, but this is everything you gave me. How did you know the gum on the ground was yours if you've never seen it before? There are no refunds for this part of me. Don't forget where you were when we met. I wanted to be liquidated, but they haven't found me yet. I'll spell it out for you when I'm free. There's disrespect in the water and the liquor can. Hi guys. Hi. I'm gonna talk quietly. It is 4:10 a.m. Okay. 4:10 a.m. And I have a job interview at 10 a.m. but I just want to talk because I was about to go to sleep, but I can't. I keep thinking about the time that I worked at American Power and Gas. Now, if you don't know, American Power and Gas is secretly owned by the Church of Scientology, but it's sort of like a cover situation where it's like you somehow like you have to really do your research for you to like find out that it's owned by the Church of Scientology, because they have like some weird like situation where it's like hard to find out, right? But it is owned by them thoroughly, or like owned by the Church of Scientology. Now, what is American Power and Gas? I worked there, but the fuck if I know. I worked there for only 2 weeks. As the average employee does. As 99% of their employees do. Unknowingly work there for only 2 weeks till the 2 weeks is over. Now, who are 99% of the people hired? Okay, we'll start out. Okay, I think I've talked about this before, but if you don't get it, or if you didn't see that, I'll explain. Okay, so there's two buildings. Let's see. Building 1. Okay, building 2. Now, building 2, you only go to if you're like officially like long-term hired, but you don't really know that the whole time, so it's confusing, okay? But they tell you eventually. All right, building 2, you only go to if you're like long-term hired, or maybe they brush on it in the interview, but you don't really know what's like going on that much. They try to like conceal the information, right? So for the sake of the story I'm about to explain, okay, it is a dark-skinned black man who hires you, okay? Because you're gonna need that information because American Power and Gas is fucked. So you need that information for like context, okay? You need to understand that, okay? So you get hired at building 2, I think is, yeah. So like basically like the official like serious building you get hired at, but you're in like a separate office room with the man who hires you, okay? Okay. So then they take you around this tour of the building. You sort of like unconsciously pick up on, okay, like I can see the demographic of people who work here seems average for the area, but like it's probably like 75% white or something, it feels like, right? And the rest is like every other race. Seems not abnormal, I guess, for the area. What does the Church of Scientology do though? You'll find out. You're about to find out what they love doing. Apparently there's some real like tax write-off thing, if you know what I'm talking about. You might already get what I'm saying. Okay. It's so weird, I think. I don't know, guys. I have no idea why they would be doing that. Okay. So you want to know what happens? Okay. So you go from building 2, then they're like, okay, like you're gonna be training at this other building for a little while. If you make it, we'll like send you over, you know, like it's not hard, you just have to read a script. Like if we decide you like made it, graduated the training, then you get to like come back to building 2. Like it's all right, you'll do great, like you're great at this, you'll be good. Okay, you show up for, now again, demographic is like a thing that you kind of unconsciously pick up on until you realize that it's majorly different from the demographic that successfully got the job long term, right? So you show up, it's like your first week, okay? You do notice 90%, or not 90%, 99% of the people in the room, okay, maybe not 99% because it's like out of 100, right? Okay, so say there's like 50 people in the room, like 2 of them are white. Okay. There's me, there's like 2 other like Hispanic people. Okay. Well, my mom's Afro-Latina, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's not like a light-skinned black person in the room. Not a single one. Okay. The rest are dark-skinned black people. Now, okay. So you're like, okay, like I kind of see what's going on, I guess, but that doesn't mean I know what's going on. Because you don't want to think like, I was like, maybe they're trying to even out what they already have going on in the building. No. Okay. Who makes it out of the training room? None of the white people, none of the dark-skinned black people, but like only like one Asian person and the Latina people, except for me, graduate the training. You hired all of them and the ones who graduated the training, and like some of these people were like amazing at what they were doing, but they were a tax write-off apparently or something, is what it looks like. The Church of Scientology, I don't even know what that means. Okay, that is over my head that the Church of Scientology is doing that as a tax write-off. I don't even know what that means because everybody got paid for 2 weeks, but like it does make you surprised that you're suddenly fired for no reason. They don't tell you the entirety of like what they're doing in the interview. So anyway, that's why I wanted to like go through that with you, because the Church of Scientology is doing that. Anyway, but while you work in the training for like 2 weeks, okay? It's not gonna be more than that. It's like less than that. You're like surrounded by the greediest energy. I've never been around energy that greedy. Maybe in like all of my like lifetimes. It was giving like in your past lives, you've never felt this level of greed surrounding you everywhere. I don't even know what that means. I could just feel it. It was just everywhere. It was like oozing out of the vending machine and the teacup in the sink and the computer. Like, how's the greed oozing out of the mouse sitting there next to the computer? It felt like this like overwhelming, like end of the world greed. Like something I've never felt. Like when I tell you, like probably like 100,000 times what I've felt in this lifetime other than that of like greed. Because I don't feel like I am around an energy that's like purely greed and like not greed mixed with anything. This was giving like just straight like greed, but over what? I couldn't figure out what it was because it didn't feel like it was greed over money. It didn't feel like it was greed over like substances. I didn't know what there's a little moth. It's okay. It's a friend. It got stuck in a spider web and I had to save it, but but it survived and it's very happy, so you can see it kind of flying around. Anyway, because again, it's 4 a.m. This is not my first adventure of the evening or morning. No. I've been on adventures this morning. Anyway, that's not the point. Moth was like one of like 10 different adventures. Anyway, so the moth doesn't have a name though, but we have options. We'll work on it. So, I don't even know, like I get it, like the Church of Scientology was doing this as a tax write-off, but again, it doesn't feel like greed over money, but it's extreme greed. It felt like greed over like the people's like bodies in some way, but not in a sexual way, and maybe not in a race way, which is, I mean, maybe it was, but like I'm like confused. Like I don't know what this was. So how is it greed over like the concept of like people's bodies, but not in a sexual way? Like again, I don't even know what any of this is, because it's like uncharted territory at that point, because I was not expecting this. I don't know what I saw. There were also spirits walking around. If you didn't know what to say, a spirit would jump in your body and say the correct thing, and the teacher would be like, oh my god, that's an amazing response. And you're like, wait, I don't actually understand the definition of any of the words I just said. How is that possible? Not that a spirit can't like kind of like influence you, but no, like left and right spirits were kind of like jumping in people's bodies to like answer questions if they didn't know what the answer was, and the answer was coming out of their mouth, but they could still not know any of what they just said. And it was like, there's like a little tiny spider walking around, but it's a tree spider, and I've never seen one of those in my room, but it's like red. Anyway, whatever, tree spider. It's 4 a.m. and that brings you here. Anyway, oh, another thing at the training building of American Power and Gas, which is again what it's called, well, American Power and Gas there was another weird psychic feeling I had never felt there. Actually, there were layers and layers and layers of many, many, many psychic feelings I had never experienced that I was overcome by being in that energy. This was a place where it perpetually felt like you were, sometimes you were one of two things, okay? You were either inside of an airplane, that was option 1, is like the psychic feeling you're experiencing. Or option 2, you feel like an airplane is about to land on the building, in the center of the building, in the cafeteria, like nose of the plane, like in the ground of the cafeteria through the ceiling. This is a 1-story building, okay? You find out, you're tested, you in a way, like by the universe, right? You find out if you can feel what it would feel like psychically to be on an airplane. You find out if you would know what it psychically feels like to like, I don't know. What was I saying? Like to have like, yeah, you find out if you psychically know what it feels like to have an airplane crash land into the building. You constantly feel like the building's about to catch on fire from an airplane landing in the cafeteria, but it never does. You perpetually feel like that's 5 seconds or 5 minutes away from happening, and there's nothing you can do. No other, like, you don't walk into like a grocery store and feel that way, you know what I'm saying? Like, You don't walk into another call center and feel that way. The moth is kind of my little familiar for now because it's been doing things. If you can't tell, it's been doing familiar things. Like it's, it's been, I can ask a question and the moth will like choose an object in the room as the answer of the question and like land on it or like sit next to it until you see it, It's been doing that, which I appreciate, the direct yes or no answers or like that are like true. After I saved it from the spiderweb. Well, actually, it started before I even saved it from the spiderweb. It kept getting itself caught and stuff, so it freed itself once and then I saved it. But it was already kind of doing the divination thing before that, and then it keeps doing it after. Ooh, what are you doing? 4 a.m. something will find you, but don't get stuck again. Whoa. Or don't get stuck in my lip gloss either. I'm not trying to get that close. Or have the moth damaged, What else was going on at American Power and Gas? Oh yeah, don't mind the sound. There's like a rat in the ceiling. I don't know where. It's like in the ceiling. Probably also doing familiar jobs that I don't know about, but yeah. It was just, I always felt like I was Christina Aguilera walking around in American Power and Gas, which is weird. It made me feel like, oh, you're not yourself, you're this other person who's, yeah, successful, but it was like, oh, this is an energy that she would be very familiar with. What I know, I don't know, but it was like, oh yeah, this is like an energy she would be familiar with, like, but you wouldn't be familiar with it, like me, I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, what am I learning about right now? Like, I don't feel like I'm learning anything. I feel like it's been a very long time since I learned anything, but that doesn't make sense because I feel like I'm always learning things, like when I'm not here. What's going on? Oh yeah, the concept of like spirits walking around. Again, like the spirits that attracted were like the greediest. But there were definitely jinn, but there were definitely like greedy spirits there. There was something, like the spirits were scary. They were freaking me out. Oh, have you ever had a spiritual feeling of like something going like up your nose, like a spirit going up your nose? Have you ever felt that as like a spirit doing that to you? I'm confused. But that, like literally a spirit, like a ghost, goes like up your nose. And you're like, what just happened? I felt like there were things being offered to me by like jinn and spirits and stuff, but I didn't understand. Like it wasn't like a conversation. It was just this feeling of like, if you wanted, it was this weird feeling of like, if you want to suddenly be like a really bad person, like we can get you a deal. You know what I mean? I was like, that was what it felt like. And I was like, what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you were like a terrible person at some point, like it was kind of like trying to pull in that energy for people, like trying to create like an energy string of like, if someone wants to be a really bad person today or tomorrow, they can like graduate the training class tomorrow, but that's like the invisible ghosts and spirits and maybe jinn walking around like trying to cut you a deal. And if you're psychic, but it was giving like underworld energy, like everybody's psychic enough to know, but nobody's saying anything because then they would be insane. A place can do that to you. A place can be so like low vibrational that even the weirdos and the ones who will never be psychic are psychic right now, because even they're supposed to know, because the place is that much beneath them spiritually and like quality of life in the moment. The actual job itself was boring, and it was giving, you know, when someone hands you a piece of paper and your brain can't read the words, but the words are normal? And like, not like dyslexia, like, oh, you're like, you know, it's like you could stare at this piece of paper for like 10 minutes, and even though you recognize all the words, you can't like identify what the words are no matter how long you're staring at the paper. American Power and Gas was like not a normal job to have. I've never felt any of that. Oh, it was across the street from a jail, and it was right by another call center. Actually, it was called Coverage X, which is another place I worked recently. Fun fact, for some reason at Coverage X, they were constantly, and Palmer, it's one company together, like in one building. Anyway, but they have two names because whatever they do. So confusing. At Coverage X, they're constantly trying to talk about not being American Power and Gas and being better than them. But whatever, right? While you're sitting, this is the scary part, right? I mean, as if all of that wasn't scary. While you're sitting, okay, at Coverage X/Palmer, right? You start to have like chills, like full body chills. You feel like a plane is about to land in the cafeteria of American Power and Gas, right next to it. But the buildings are separate enough and there's distance between, so you're like, oh, I feel like a plane is about to land on them and the building is going to catch on fire, but it's not going to reach us. But you feel like it's going to happen within like 5 minutes. But it doesn't happen. What? Also, Palmer and Coverage X is a good example. It was maybe like, it's hard to tell. It was less than 20% like dark-skinned Black people because they're all getting hired. Maybe at American Power and Gas where they get dropped. Or that's the demographic of the area and American Power and Gas is seeking them out. Does that make sense? Just to like do that to them as a tax write-off. I mean, technically it did it to me too, as a tax write-off, so do you understand what I'm saying? It's so over my head to even know what that means. Like, is this like morally like the worst thing ever, or do they just have a right to do it? Like, what's the real agenda here? Because it's so like weirdly layered in like a spiritual way. Oh, and it's the Church of Scientology. Like, what? Right across the street from the jail? Why is the Church of Scientology interested in being right across the street from the jail? Why does it feel like there's a plane landing on top of the building while there's people working there at some point? Like, it's so weird. Why did I feel like I was Christina Aguilera when we're two different people? So many questions, but none of them make any sense. And no answers. But yeah, I wanted to help explain sort of the demographic, because at Palmer, Coverage X, it was probably like 50% white. And then people who had light skin, but were not actually like the race of white, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean, was like making up the rest of it. Not that there weren't Black people, there were, but like, or like dark-skinned Black people, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's giving, something isn't making sense if the demographic of the area is drastically different. Like, oh, they're 90 feet away. Like, okay, they're 90 feet away, but their demographic for who they're hiring or who they're saying yes to, is everybody they're trying to abuse for tax write-offs, and you can just tell. Like, it takes a long time to be like, what is going on? Like, honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know. But, like, I hope you guys understand that the Church of Scientology is not only as shady as everybody knows it is, but, like, it's also just doing, like, weird stuff. Under the table, like, hopefully nobody's going missing at American Power and Gas or something, because it's, like, under the table weird. Anyway. Oh. Yeah, I don't even know. I've heard all kinds of things. I used to work at another call center called... This actually might make something else make sense, because I kind of realized, like, connecting the dots, but I used to work at Biogenetics Laboratory. It was another call center regarding DNA testing and laboratory stuff, and so somebody there said that they allegedly already had worked at American Power and Gas for, like, a long time, like a year, right? And so this man said he had worked there for, like, a year. Again, I think this is the only American Power and Gas location, and so he said they would, or I mean, there's, like, the two buildings, but, like, he worked at the official building, like, after training, essentially. And so apparently he said they let people, like, do cocaine, like, on the desk, allegedly out in the open, in the room of every employee ever, which kind of makes sense. I guess the spirit trying to, or, like, the ghost trying to, like, go up people's noses and stuff. Like, I guess it's like, huh? I guess spirits are trying to do that to offer people, like, hey, do you want to be, like, a really bad person tomorrow? And then you can have this, like, because American Power and Gas, if you don't know what I'm saying, if you make it to the big building, they have, like, this weird, like, performance every week. It's, like, in the morning, where they, like read a list of names, and they just hand them, like, a giant wad of cash. Like, they're just handing somebody, it's like, they start just reading people's names. People go up to a stage. There's, like, a microphone. They had musicians, they, like, that worked there, or they hired or something. They made, like, some American Power and Gas song that they were, like, having professionally produced, like, and then they would call these names up to the stage. They called maybe, like, 15 people. They would hand each one, like, $10,000, like, cash, paper cash, $10,000, not a check. They were like, here you go, like, what? Anyway, clearly it was not the job for me. I did not make it past the training, and I wasn't really gonna want to be around that anyway, but, like, I wasn't gonna participate, and that was probably very obvious, and probably part of why the Church of Scientology would not have wanted them to choose me. But that is a very, very complicated, weird, interesting fact. I don't know what people do to get a job there, but they're doing something I am not doing in order to get a real job there, because you can get the temporary fake job there, but what does it take to get a promotion? Something I'm definitely not doing. That is for sure. So where are these people coming from, and what? Anyway, I love you guys. Goodbye. Oh, and they were hiring that quantity of people, like 40 people walking in, like, every single day, or, like, every, like, 2 days, just for all these people to get fired, like, immediately. Tax write-off, you know, like, every 5 seconds. Anyway, yeah, that's all. I love you guys. Bye.
They can't tell me what to do. There's caffeine on the house, it's active, radioactive. Loving you felt like dying on the operating table, like climbing a ladder till I give up and fall. Like the anesthesia didn't work, and I feel the creation of every scar. Like a movie I'm chained to.
Wait, really quick, guys. I have to tell you about my GoFundMe for my music career. I have a GoFundMe for my music career starting from $0, raising money for ads to grow my audience and to reach record labels. If things grow, then I will eventually be using that money to turn my YouTube demos into full professional real recordings. And help me to go as far as possible. I bet if you guys will do your best to help me and to invest, you guys could probably turn me into the biggest pop star in the world. It's just going to really depend on how much you guys are willing and able to help me. So please do what you can to help, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.
I have 1 penny to buy this iced coffee, but this is everything you gave me. How did you know the gum on the ground was yours if you've never seen it before? There are no refunds for this part of me. Don't forget where you were when we met. I wanted to be liquidated, but they haven't found me yet. I'll spell it out for you when I'm free. There's disrespect in the water and the liquor can't